Hello Scorpio, and welcome to Embrace the Moon Tarot and your August 2017 reading. And I was sitting here shuffling and trying to tap into the energies of Scorpio as I was doing this, and can I just say my head and my eyes ache. I feel an exhaustion that just makes me tired, and I don't feel like I'm physically tired in the sense that I did a lot of work and now I need to go take a nap. I'm just exhausted, and like I said, my eyes kind of ache. So there's some physical feeling attached to the energies that seem to be happening around you in general. Some of it's internal energy, some of it's external energy as far as people that are close to you, and some of it's the energy of the world as a whole. But you're feeling it all and you're absorbing it. You're absorbing way too much of it, and as a result of it, it's exhausting you on a level that's different than if you were actually doing physical labor or you were doing something physically fun. And I don't know, some of you may be having headaches from it. I'm not quite sure, but it's intense. I'm feeling it fairly intensely right now. So let's see what sort of reading we get for you as far as vibrations that you may experience as you go through the month of August. Present energy, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, strength, possible obstacle, recent past, and potential future. So I'm going to start with current energy, which is the Nine of Swords, and I definitely feel that this is pretty much summing up in a card what I just said at the beginning, which is your current energy very, very much feels like it's just bogged down and exhausting, and it's because you're just absorbing all the energies around you. You know what you know what you're feeling and experiencing, and then you know what you're feeling and experiencing in compassion and sympathy for those that you care about, and then also external. And I just feel like I need to bring in the recent past and the World card, although it generally has a different meaning. I feel that in general, in this particular reading, the World card is just representing the world in general. And I feel that recently you've just been overwhelmed with, like I said, the energy of the world that you don't have any really connection to other than the fact that you exist in the world, your own personal world and the people that make up your world, and then you yourself and what you're feeling and experiencing in attached to that and detached from that and just who you are as an individual. But you're just kind of, events in general have you really feeling, and like I said, absorbing so much, and because of it you're just overwhelmed with all of this energy. It's bogging you down. It's really exhausting you. It's exhausting you physically, it's exhausting you mentally, because you can't seem to find a way to detach from it. You can't find a way to see it as a separate entity. You're just taking it all in, and then you're allowing it to just roam around in your head as this wild energy, and it's just overwhelming you. I mean, that's the Nine of Swords, just really overwhelming you and consuming you. And like I said, I feel that that's why I felt that what I felt in the beginning, that exhaustion, and my eyes ache and my head kind of aches. I feel that it's taken over. Like, it's just taken over. You have lost all control of it So much so that it's just taking over how you feel physically. It may have started out simpler than that, but it has just kind of taken over, and now you're at a point where you don't know how you can gain control of it. And you probably didn't even recognize what it was until maybe you started watching this video and you realize, yes, that's it, I get it, yeah. But even now that you know, you really don't know where your starting point is trying to sift through it and decipher and try to separate the different energies so that you can label them and file them away, and you're no longer absorbing them, or they're no longer running wild and rampant within your head, and therefore manifesting physically and how you feel physically. But that's your current energy, and it's definitely linked with, like I said, all the energies that are going on in the world as a whole. You're just taking it all in. So in the physical realm, we have the sun, and I feel that the message with this is twofold. One of them is you need your starting point. Trying to find your starting point begins with counting your blessings, recognizing what it is that you can be grateful for, recognizing what it is that doesn't consume you, recognizing what it is that's not bogging you down. From the smallest detail, whatever it is, start out simple. Even if it is waking up and realizing, I took a breath, that means I'm alive. I'm grateful for that. That's a starting point for you. But that is going to be a way for you to turn this around, a way for this overwhelm and this consumption that has happened to turn around, and hopefully get it so that this energy that you've unknowingly been absorbing, and then allowing for it to run rampant and start to manifest physically, you can kind of get a hold of it by starting with gratitude. And it just sounds so trite. I know it doesn't sound quite right to be like, oh, count your blessings, oh, find ways to be grateful. But it really is a starting point. And I think that the one half of the message is that you do need to start. If you don't know where to start, this is where you start. Do what it takes, whatever it is. As often as you can, find little things to be grateful for. You don't have to verbalize it. You don't even have to tell anybody that you're doing it. You don't have to write it down, but journaling can kind of be interesting, because when you start to write these things down, it's amazing how that can create its own power and energy in and of itself. But that is your starting point, just being grateful. And mentally, if nothing else, mentally saying in your head, I am grateful for this. And not just saying, oh yeah, I'm grateful for that. Actually verbalizing, even if it's just in your head. Like I said, I breathe today, which means I'm alive. I'm grateful to be alive. It can be something as simple as when you notice somebody walk across the street when you were driving down the road and you managed to stop in time. Verbalize, I'm thankful that I saw that and I didn't cause an accident. You can be grateful in some of the most ridiculous and seemingly benign ways, but that's how it's going to begin. And do it as frequently. Find as many opportunities as you possibly can to speak gratitude, and you'll be able to turn some of that wild energy that's just going around in your head. You'll be able to turn that around and hopefully get it so that's not manifesting physically anymore. Hopefully get it so you can reprieve some of the physical manifestations of it. The other half of the Sun card message to you is that there are brighter days coming. So don't let it consume you so much that you create your own fog and you can't see the sunshine. Because the sun is going to shine. It is going to get better. Is it going to get better how you think it should be? I can't really promise you that. But brighter days are coming. It is going to get better. It's not going to be as bad as your worst case scenario that you've managed to dredge up in your head. It's not going to be as bad as that. Better days are coming. The sun is going to shine soon. And until it does, you create your own sunshine by counting your blessings. However ridiculous or small that blessing may be, speak gratitude of it in your head. Write it down. If you're alone in the car, say it out loud. Create this energy of blessing and sunshine so that you can control this overwhelm that's kind of taken over. Mentally, we have the Judgment card. And again, I feel this message is twofold. One is you got to stop comparing and contrasting and trying to be judge and jury regarding these issues that have consumed you, whatever it is. And I feel that you've gotten to a point, for whatever reason, you've been overwhelmed with all of these energies. And I feel that your go-to method of trying to decipher between them and trying to work through them has been to start to compare and contrast and try to pass judgment on them. But the problem is that that's been counterproductive, and it's only added to the energy. It's added to the energy source, or it's added to the volume of energy that was around those particular scenarios or those particular issues. And so there's a request for you to stop, because while you're consumed with passing the judgment and trying to decipher, you're missing out on the moments of gratitude that you could be experiencing. So the energy that you're spending in trying to work through this by perception of judgment, you should be trying to flip that and work through it with a perception of gratitude and counting your blessings. And then the other half of this message is to rise above it. There are some things that you perceive that you are correct as far as from in human filter. It does seem unjust, but that's not what you're supposed to be focusing on. So you need to find a way to rise above it, get a broader perspective, and maybe see how you aren't really as linked as much to that particular scenario or experience as you may, or even you were linked as much as you thought, but because you're able to rise above it and see it from a broader perspective, you can unchain yourself from that and let it go and not let it be part of your life anymore. And again, then releasing yourself from some of that energy that's consuming you and running rampant in your head, and managing to create a physical manifestation. Emotionally, we have Six of Swords, and this is a request. This is a request for you to move away from these trials and tribulations that's bogging you down, because it's increasing a heightened emotional awareness that's not necessary. It's kind of like giving your emotions steroids, but now you're on like this weird rage as a result of it. And again, you can't, and now it's out of your control. Like, you can't seem to be able to, you know what you want, you know what you want to feel, and you know how you want to control it, but you don't know where your starting point is. So you're being requested to just find a way to move away from it, distance yourself away from it, so that you can focus on your personal emotional status and do what it is that you need to do so that you can control your emotions separate from these other energies that you've been absorbing unknowingly. But emotionally, you need to distance yourself from these sources so that you can only feel your own emotions, and that's all you'll be tapping into in those moments when you manage to distance yourself. But it's only going to be possible if you manage to distance yourself from it. Spiritually, we have King of Pentacles. And this feels very much as though there's a sense of kind of disconnect. And I don't know that you realize it, but I get the sense that there's this feeling of superiority. And I feel like that term's not going to be very well accepted. I'm so sorry. But there's a sense of superiority in the sense that you feel like you don't have to work on anything spiritually. And I feel that it comes tied with that not being able to let go of sitting in that position of judgment and comparing and contrasting. So you are unknowingly sitting on a throne of superiority. You don't recognize this of yourself, but because of it, you're blocking some spiritual growths that you've been wanting. there's some spiritual growths and gains and expansions that you've been working hard, and you work and you work and you work, and you are beyond frustrated because you feel like you've put in all of this work and you're getting nothing out of it, and you don't understand why. Because, I mean, how much energy should you be putting into something and get nothing back? So you don't realize that that very attitude of, but I'm doing this and I should be getting this reward as a result of it, that is actually putting you in a place where you're kind of blocking yourself spiritually. You could be further. You could be at a place that you've been working towards, but you're actually blocking yourself because you can't give up your personal throne that you've built. You're really struggling with recognizing how much you are actually limiting yourself because you don't want to let go. You don't want to let go of sitting and seeing other scenarios and taking a moment of comparing and contrasting, and I feel like this might have a little bit, and I feel this is a little bit reminiscent of last month's reading. So you've come a ways, but at the same time you haven't come as far as you could have been, and some of that's still kind of trickling. And I feel that, like I said, I feel that this is the reason why the King of Pentacles is actually in the spiritual realm, because you could be experiencing those really fiery, grounding spiritual epiphanies and enlightenments, but you're blocking yourself from them because you know what you should be doing, but you refuse to do it because you feel that this other scenario that you have thought up would be better. And the truth is that it could be good. Whatever you've perceived could be good, but there's a better way, and you're blocking it, and so you're not allowing it to happen. And so then this is exhausting you too, which is only adding to the energies, and it's just creating more wild, rampant, exhausting overwhelm that's occurring as a result of all of this. So you need to stop pushing for what you perceive to be perfection and allow perfection to happen as it's supposed to, and it might come as chaos before it becomes anything good, because that's just how the universe works sometimes. So yeah, spiritually, you've got to kind of sit with yourself, and you've got to be honest with yourself. There's a request of honesty for where you're at spiritually. I feel very unpopular right now. I'm sorry. Your strengths for the month is Two of Wands, and I feel this is very much related to what I just said in regards to the spiritual aspect energy of King of Pentacles. And your strength is going to be in knowing what the right action is and actually taking it. And like I said, I did say, I feel that you do know what you should be doing. You already know what the better prospect is, but you just refuse to accept it. And it has to do with that comparison and contrast that you've done in regards to life experiences and how you feel that things should progress or should have progressed, or the scenarios that you feel fit better. Even though there's a part of you that knows that that's not absolutely 100% correct. So your strength is going to be actually recognizing the truth that you know is to be true, and then doing something about it. Actually accepting it and moving with it. That's going to be your strength. And the truth is you can continue on the road that you're continuing. The scenario that you already have depicted and that you are preferring, it's not going to block you from ever having spiritual experiences. You will still have spiritual, because we're spiritual beings, so every decision you make will still take you closer, but it's going to take you the long way around. So if you're hoping for that to happen faster, you need to release and choose the decision that you know is actually the real right decision, the real authentic truth for you. Yeah, the possible obstacle for the month is the Queen of Swords, and I feel that the reason why this is a potential obstacle is because, like I said, you don't want to give up the narrative of what you perceive to be right. You're comfortable with it, you're secure with it, and even though it's not gotten you to where you want to be, it still has gotten you places, and so you don't want to give it up. There's comfort in that because there's security in that. No, it's not the fastest lane, but it still has progressed you to the direction you want to go, and that creates this comfort and security that's really hard to let go of. And that's where the possible obstacle comes into play, that the Queen of Swords represents that inability of knowing which one, or allowing yourself to nurture which one is the right one. So these are really hand in hand. Your strength and your obstacle are hand in hand. And the Two of Wands is your strength, because if you take the action that you know is your authentic truth, there's great power in that for yourself. The obstacle is that if you nurture the wrong one, and you have a tendency to choose the wrong one until you've progressed so far down, and then you'll come to the realization. You always do. You do come to the realization, and you do succumb to the way that you've always known all along to be the way you should have taken. But the energy that's expended in the process, which is something you kick yourself for anyhow, when it's all said and done, and you look back in hindsight, you're more than willing to admit to yourself, I really should have done what I knew I should have done in the first place. I would have avoided this. I would have avoided expending this energy, and so on and so forth. But that's why the Queen of Swords is your obstacle, because you have a tendency to nurture the wrong way. And it's not the wrong way in the sense that it's in the wrong direction. You're still going in the right direction, but you're taking the long way around. And so that's your obstacle. You have the potential of still making the choice to take the longer route to get where you want to go. You'll still get there. But, you know, like I said, you'll beat yourself up because you could have gotten there quicker. We have at the end of the month the potential energy of being Five of Swords, and I feel this is tied again by making the choice that's actually nurturing the long way around, which means you have the potential of ending August and feeling like you lost energy in the process. You will feel like you've been robbed of energy, but the truth is you've actually given permission for that energy to be given away by making the choices that you make. So you're going to reach your end goal, you know, this, and I feel this is very much spiritual, more so than anything. You'll reach that goal that you've been striving towards spiritually, or for as a person deep inside, your internal portion of yourself. But I feel like you'll reach it, and because you nurtured the long way around, you're going to end it thinking, oh my God, look at the time that I wasted. Look what I have lost as a result of this. But it's something that you unwittingly gave permission for yourself to lose. And that's going to be the energy that you have the potential of ending the month of August. Do you have a potential of turning around? Well, you know you do. You know you do, because you know you've come up on these things before, and you've seen that you're taking the wrong way around, and you finally opened your eyes and saw the shorter path, and so you hurried up and got on the shorter path, and you made the choice to nurture the choices that allow you to get there faster. So you know you're capable of doing it. Plus you also know that you're capable of not succumbing as quickly as you should have, and sometimes even not succumbing at all and reaching the end, and then beating yourself up because you knew what the right choice was all along, but you still didn't make it. You know this about yourself. So I guess this is just a heads up. This has the potential of happening, and hopefully if you don't nurture the right choice and you do take the long way around, and you know this is coming, it'll be easier for you to work through, and hopefully you won't be nearly as hard on yourself, because the truth is, whether you nurture the short path or the long path, you will still get there. But come on, don't you want to expend less energy? All right, so let's go ahead and pull a card to kind of wrap this all up for you. my eyes don't seem to ache nearly as bad. So maybe you've reached some sort of enlightenment that has allowed you to kind of gain some control regarding this chaos that's been running rampant in your head, and maybe you can start to, like I said, get a stronghold on some of these energies that you've been unwittingly absorbing. So let's see, what do we have for you as a wrap up or mantra or something that you can carry as you move through the month? Mint, decisive action. I feel like I don't even have to say anymore. Like, that pretty much wraps up everything that I rambled on about for the last, what, like 5 minutes or so? Decisive action. So you got to make a choice. Your strength is in the choice that you make. And you already know that whatever choice you make is the choice that's going to get you where you want to go. But, you know, be very decisive about these actions that you're taking so that you can have better control of these energies. Not just the energies that you're absorbing, but the energies that you're then going to be expending as a result of these choices that you make and as you move forward. So, yeah, decisive action. That's your key phrase for the month. Decisive action. All right, Scorpio, that is all I have for you. I hope you have a wonderful August. Make it great, and hopefully I'll see you in September.